If you're interested in old wine, specifically old Sauternes, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Bob Paulinski, Master of Wine. For this video, I've dug deep into my personal cellar to open a 25-year-old bottle of Chateau Filhot. This will give you some indication of what happens when a Sauternes wine ages. I'll also provide some buying suggestions of current releases from different producers at varying price points. It'll give you a bit of a shopping list when you're out looking for these wines. Now, for this specific wine, I've had it many times. I know it's been stored well, and I'm hoping this one shows to its full potential. For starters, Sauternes is located about 40 kilometers south of the city of Bordeaux. There, two rivers converge, the Sauternes and Garonne. It's a place that's ideal for the formation of Botrytis Cinerea, or noble rot. In most wine regions, this would be completely unwelcomed and problematic, but within Sauternes, it's the catalyst for something magical. The noble rot works its charms by forming tiny perforations within the grape skin itself. It extracts liquid from each individual berry. This concentrates the flavors, the sugar, and the acidity. Because the weather conditions vary from year to year, some years will be very light to completely absent of botrytis. Other years it can be rather pronounced. Specific to the old wine that I'll be opening, the Chateau Filhot, this is a second growth in the 1855 Bordeaux classification, consistently one of the better values as well. Within Sauternes, there are three primary grape varieties, one of which is the dominant player, and that is Semillon. As Semillon ripens, the grape skin tends to be quite thin. It's a perfect target for noble rot. In addition to that is Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc is really there to lift the palate a bit, give the wine a bit more acidity. Chateau Filhot tends to be higher in percentage of Sauvignon Blanc than most. Typically, Semillon plays a role of around 75 to 80%, maybe 15 to 20% or so for Sauvignon Blanc. And then the third player is Muscadel. This is used generally 2-3% of the total. It's there really for some aromatic lift. Being in Sauternes at harvest time is a unique experience. It takes multiple passes through a vineyard to actually complete the harvest. It could be 6, 8, 10 passes through a vineyard. And what the pickers are looking for is perfectly ripe berries. They're generally not selecting entire clusters, so it's individual berries. And if you think of a standard vine in Bordeaux, generally it's looked at that one vine will produce about one bottle of wine. Within Sauternes, it's more like one vine produces a single glass of wine. This is certainly one of the contributing factors to the cost as well. Now, the benchmark standard within Sauternes is this, Chateau Filhot. This is an old bottle from 1939 that I opened many years ago. This is one of the great wines of the world and certainly the benchmark standard for Sauternes. I don't often drink dessert wines, but when I do, Sauternes is at the top of my list. Small amount goes a long way, which is why I prefer a 375 milliliter for this sort of wine. The wines are aged in oak, which in part contributes to the deeper color, but the primary factor is bottle aging, which brings a long, slow oxidative process. The color will continue to deepen and it'll become very pronounced with extended time. Sometimes tartaric crystals will form in the bottle, either clinging to the cork or settling to the bottom of the bottle. It's common, harmless, and it's an indication that the wine has not been overly manipulated. So this is always a good sign. The cork looks to be in sound condition. There's no sign of anything leaking or seeping. And the cork feels very firm as well. You can also see by the condition of the cork, for 25 years old, this is in fantastic shape, very firm. Again, nothing crumbly, nothing falling apart. This is a cork that's done its job. This golden color is typical of a 25-year-old Sauternes. There's a lot going on here in the aromatics. It smells like honey. There is a fig, stone fruit, apricot characteristic, a little bit like ginger as well. And something that I find on occasion in Sauternes is super cool, and it has a bit of a saffron characteristic, and that can definitely be found in this wine. I think you can see on this video, the wine is rather viscous, and this is quite common with Sauternes. Even though this wine does not have a lot of botrytis to it, very typical of the 1998 vintage. It's not a heavy botrytis year in general. 97's much more so, but there's concentration. There's a lot of aromatic intensity on this wine. On the palate, there's very good weight, strong presence. You get that impact on the front, mid, very good length on the back palate. Wine is super smooth. It's certainly sweet, but it's not cloying. And there's this acidity, this freshness that comes out of this wine. The oak characteristic is evident. This is typically not one of the heavier oaked chateaus for Sauternes. That's my personal preference. If you like a little bit of a heavier oak style, look in the description. I'll provide some of the suggestions that play up the oak characteristic a bit more. But this wine is drinking beautifully at 25 years old. I've had a really good history with this over the last several years, and I think I'm down to a couple of bottles now, but this is still drinking very well. Recently, I've been getting a good number of requests to do more videos on older wines. So if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button. If you've not yet subscribed, do it now. It very much does help this channel. Be sure to hit the notification bell as well. It'll keep you up to speed on all things happening here. If you have any comments on Sauternes, post it down below. I try to follow up on each and every one. I know I'm going to be drinking well tonight. I hope you are too. And I'll see you again before too long. Cheers.